Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new National Party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.
Government pension. What are the facts? Are all public workers entitled to pension? Are public workers owed gratuity? Here are the facts. Fact 1. The Pension Disqualification Act of 1983 was validated on April 21, 1985 by the democratically elected government, led by former Prime Minister Herbert A. Blaise. This means that public workers employed after February 22, 1985 are not legally entitled to a pension from the government of Grenada. Fact 2. The judgment in the Hermelin Armstrong case does not create legal precedents for the reinstatement of pension to public workers employed after February 22, 1985. The judgment created a legal precedence only for those workers who joined the public service in a pensionable post between April 4, 1983 and February 22, 1985. There were 56 such workers. The government restored pension to those 56 workers in 2018 at a cost of $7.7 million. Fact 3. All officers employed in a pensionable post who joined the service after February 22, 1985 are not legally entitled to a pension from government. They are only entitled to a pension from NIS once they meet the necessary requirements as per the NIS Act. Fact 4. The Cabinet's decision in 2016 to reform pension is rooted in moral and social justice principles, and it is not a legal obligation. Therefore, any agreement on pension is a win for public workers. Fact 5. The MOU signed between government, the unions, and staff associations in February and March 2018 stated that the pension regime which will be implemented must be affordable and sustainable. Fact 6. The proposed pension regime for public workers employed between February 22, 1985 and December 31, 2018, as stated in the MOU, is a non-contributory pension plan. Therefore, no deductions will be taken from workers' salaries to finance their pension from government. Pensioners also benefit from any future negotiated salary increases. Fact 7. It was agreed by all parties that a worker's annual pension would be a minimum of 70% of their final salary to be paid jointly by the NIS and the government of Grenada. Fact 8. Government is not obligated to offer an advanced pension payment, commonly called a gratuity. Government has proposed to make an advanced pension payment of 2% of full pension, an amount it can practically and reasonably afford given its current and projected revenue stream. It should be noted that an advanced pension payment is a non-interest-bearing loan that the government grants to the pensioner, which must then be repaid in equal monthly installments in the form of a reduced monthly pension over 12.5 years. Fact 9. Under the proposed 2% advanced pension payment or gratuity, retirees will be entitled to a higher monthly pension than if a larger advanced payment was given. Fact 10. If the government accommodates any higher rate of gratuity, the implications would be severe for the country, as this will translate to higher taxes such as VAT, income tax and property tax, higher import duties, the possibility that hundreds of millions of dollars in grants would be lost, lower expenditure in critical areas such as healthcare, agriculture, roadworks and youth development, retrenchment of workers. These are the facts. Government is committed to an amicable resolution to the pension matter for the good of all Grenadians.
With malice intention, when instead they could be uplifting a sister for life progression. It is so hard now when a man turn a big man and still didn't grow. But the reason they procrastinate and gossip is because their mind is poor. So I say poor mind will gossip. Illiteracy, simple mind, talk about places that they could never be. Ordinary mind, talk about events and personalities, but wouldn't mind speak about ideas, and great mind speaks philosophy. The mind is such a spiritual force, will make you do what.
Good morning, Grenada, Carriacou, and the Petit Martinique. Once again, it is time for Hard Talk. Saying good morning to you, whether you're local, regional, international. My name is Sheldon Scott.
I'm Devon Romain.
And this is Hard Talk. And we're live on 97.5 City Sound FM.
89.5 CRFM.
92.9, yes, out there on the Sister Isles of Carriacou and Petit Martinique.
And 94.9 We Vibes Radio out there in Brooklyn, Cole. Brooklyn.
Yeah, well, you know, it's this time of year, and those areas are usually a little
nippy,
frigid.
Nippy.
Yeah, frigid. So we say a special good morning to all our friends and family members, wherever you are.
Come to Grenada.
Yeah, you know, you can always come home. But, you know, it's, this morning, down the road one time. Yeah, as we begin this morning, I think it's important for us to play for people the national address that was given by the Honorable Oliver Joseph. He would have done an address, I think it was yesterday. Yesterday, I think it came, or Saturday. Yesterday. And many persons may not have gotten, you know, usually on the weekend, you're relaxing with the family. That's the time you head to the beach, you go to BBC, you go to Grandans Beach, you relax with the family and so on. Or you visit friends and you visit family and you go to different functions and activities and all of that. So many of you may not have heard it. I think it's important that you hear this address that was delivered by the Honorable Oliver Joseph. So before we go into anything else, we want to start the ball rolling properly because we think, and not that we think, but we know it's important that you hear exactly what he had to say in this address. All right? So, Devon, we're going with that?
One time.
All right. We're heading with it one time.
The following is a statement by Minister for Trade, Industry, Cooperatives and CARICOM Affairs, the Honorable Oliver Joseph, updating the nation on the government's position on pension.
Fellow Grenadians, I wish to provide you with an update on the current industrial impasse between the Government of Grenada and the public sector trade unions. As you are aware, this government has announced its intention to restore and reform pensions for workers between the 22nd of February 1985 and the 31st of December 2018. This process has led to the restoration of pension to all workers that were entitled to receive a pension that joined the service between April 1984 and 22nd of February 1985. In the second phase, pension reform. Pension reform will address all workers between the 22nd of February 1985 and the 31st of December 2018. In the Memorandum of Understanding between government and the Public Sector Unions and Staff Association, agreement was reached for a 70% pension after retirement. The outstanding issue has to do with the advance payment of pension, which is referred to as gratuity. This gratuity is an advance payment that must be repaid in 12 and a half years or 150 months. Therefore, it could be considered as a loan since you must repay it. The unions are insisting on 25% gratuity. They have no issue with the pension. The government did write to the unions, inviting them to come back to the table. On Friday, the 23rd at 10 a.m., the Unions and Staff Association met with the Pension Engagement Committee to discuss the way forward. The union made it abundantly clear that a resolution to this matter hinged on the settlement of the 25% as gratuity and the non-deduction of wages from the workers withdrawing their labor. I indicated, as a cabinet minister attending the meeting, that I will take the demand back to cabinet on Monday and that they will get a written response after cabinet meeting. I left the meeting with a clear understanding that no action will be taken until the cabinet meeting on Monday. I was shocked and disappointed to learn that the president of the Grenada Union of Teachers wrote to its members informing that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, strike action will continue, and that on Wednesday, a mass meeting and protest will be held. Despite the good faith of the government, and despite all efforts to get the union to sit at the bargaining table, it seemed that all our best effort has failed. Therefore, as a responsible government, we need to inform the nation that we are willing to sit and look at a resolution to this matter. Our children's future is at stake. The stability of the country is at stake. We have a responsibility to ensure that all sectors of this country are taken care of. We stand to lose millions of dollars if we breach the Fiscal Responsibility Act. And therefore, we ask that good sense prevail and that the union reconsider the action and come back to the bargaining table. In fact, a meeting is scheduled for Thursday of next week where fact-based negotiation will commence, where the union will have an opportunity to present its fact to justify the 25% request, and the government side will respond. I am hopeful that the meeting on Thursday can still take place so that we can get a resolution to this matter. I thank you.
The preceding was a statement by Minister for Trade, Industry, Cooperatives and CARICOM Affairs, the Honorable Oliver Joseph, updating the nation on the government's position on pension.
Yes, indeed. So you had it there from the Honorable Oliver Joseph.
Between a rock and
He was part of the team to meet with the unions on Friday.
Yeah.
So he met with the unions on Friday. They had their conversations and so. Didn't went as the unions wanted it.
No.
Government left the meeting thinking that, okay, we're making some headway here. Only to hear afterwards, Monday strike, Tuesday strike, Wednesday strike and March.
Yeah, that was sad.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man.
Very sad.
It shows a lack of faith. Yeah.
And not just that. I think, in my view, I think the whole question of the negotiating skills and the belly to negotiate is lacking on the union side.
And we're not sticking today. We're taking your calls. As soon as you call, we're taking your call. We're going to stop what we're saying, stick a note next to it, and we're going to sing. So, Devon, how the hand coming along?
Well,
inquiring minds would like to know.
Yeah, it's a little better. It's coming on.
I mean, I know about asking on air, so you go say it on air because a lot of people are concerned.
Still required some professional treatment and so, which I would have in the next couple of days. And but I'm taking it easy. can't overwork it and everything like that. So thanks all those who have been concerned, still concerned, and so and no, right? I was not hit by anyone. I was not in a fight with anyone. All right. So
usually the first thing somebody who's been abused does say is that they have not been abused. But anyway, let's go to the phone line. Devon, the phone line. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, gentlemen. Good morning to you. I'm glad that y'all was not sticking this morning. I'm up very early.
Wow. Good morning, Leslie.
Here is the thing. First of all, I think, well, you know, I'm and everybody know I'm an NNP supporter, and I also support the government. But this is what I think we should do. I think the government should stop with this going back and forth with unions. First of all, we have technology. We can teach our children through technology. Secondly, we are part of CARICOM. I don't want the government to listen to me very carefully. I don't care what the unions say. We can get qualified teachers from CARICOM, bring them in to teach our children, let Lloyd and Lewis and them continue to strike. In fact, tell them continue to strike. Strike for 5-10 years. Just continue going straight. We have CARICOM, bringing teachers, qualified teachers from CARICOM to teach our children. I mean, I saw the thing by the gentleman from Tau, the press release, and I can see in his eyes, from my opinion, the guy was not honest. He is just trying to be, as Doc said in the parliament, I think Friday, a bully. And the government and people of Grenada cannot allow the unions to bully us. We can't take that. You understand? They have their political agenda. I would say, this is my opinion. This is not hard talk or the government of Grenada opinion. This is Leslie Charles' opinion. These people have their political agenda. I think, in all fairness, we have technology. Let's start going technology. You don't have to pay technology pension and gratuity. All that talk's supposed to done. And shut up the unions by simply bringing in qualified teachers from CARICOM, which would be legal to do, because you're coming from CARICOM, we have agreement signed, bring them in, pay them. And the teachers, the local teachers here, because you have teachers home who wants to teach, let them teach, you know. Give those outside teachers, let them come in, give them a nice money, pay them to teach our students. Watch all that strike done. We have to stop letting people like Lloyd and Lewis and the guy from Tau and Rachel Roberts and these people talk down to the Prime Minister and the government as if that's the little boy. I'm very much upset with that, and I think that should done. I ain't vexed with all that talking. I vexed with the unions and their approach. Okay,
All right.
gentlemen?
Okay, brother.
All right, my brother. Have a
Right.
wonderful
All right,
day.
thank you.
You're in Honolulu still, man? He's gone, man.
Yeah, he's gone.
Message us and answer us, man.
Yeah.
All right, but no, I don't agree. I must say I don't agree. I believe that all of us as big people, whether you're the union leadership or the government of Grenada or the tax-paying parent, yeah, all of us, we're big people. And as such, as big people, we can come to a final solution on this issue without having to hire, quote-unquote, what is called scab labor, from outside of the region. Some people might be vexed. They mightn't agree with what I say. But I think that we can come to a final solution. What needs to happen is that the union needs to decide that they want a solution to this issue. It is not the government. Let me repeat, it is not the government. The government has said, okay, we take the 2% off the table. The government has said, we're willing to meet and discuss another figure with you. The government has said that it is willing to negotiate. The union has taken the unbending and unwavering position, 25% and not a cent less, not a percentage less.
Yeah, either or either.
And now they've added to it, you must pay for the days that the teachers have been out of the classroom, and the public workers who stayed home for the couple of days, you must pay the public workers for the time that they've been away from the job too. Well, who voted them in on the 13th of March this year?
I don't know.
They are supposed to negotiate. You don't negotiate by coming from an unflexible position and an unbending position. Government is saying, your government, the government that represents you, the Grenadian people, is saying, listen, the 25% is undoable, but we're willing to discuss another figure. We are willing to discuss. Not that they're going to take the position of, let's just take everything off the table and forget it totally. Not we sticking to the 2%. The government has said, the government is the one that's attempting to fix the relationship here, and the union is holding a position that they want no relationship fix.
Yeah, exactly.
Is this a want and is this a want?
And what is interesting, Sheldon, what is really on the table is not the whole question of pension, whether teachers or public workers getting a pension. That has been finalized. Pension has already been reinstated.
Pension is not the issue.
Pension is not the issue.
I see people marching with placards about they want their pension. The pension, say it again, Devon.
The pension is not the issue. The pension has already been reintroduced. It is there, right? The whole question, right, is look, when this memorandum of understanding.
Let me take the call.
Good morning, my dear.
And Mr. Scott.
Good morning.
Pass for the thing today.
Yes, my dear, I go pass.
Yeah?
Yes, my love.
Yes. How you doing? Good morning to Patty, Mr. Watson, Mr. Deputy, everybody. I can't say long because I think I have much credit. Sheldon.
Yes, my love.
The same hand that's feeding us, we continue of the hand. Sheldon, with Miss Armstrong case, if the Prime Minister, good morning, Mr. Prime Minister, they appeal that case, you'd have never done that now. Just start telling no. Just start telling no. If the Prime Minister, they appeal that case, you would have nobody striking today. Just start telling no. And it's good faith. Man say he will give them something. And you see what's going on now? You see what's going on now? And that is a plan. Or you could kill me if you want. Or you could call and say what all you want. They plan to get rid of this government. That is a plan, Sheldon. Nobody was stupid in there. That is a plan. But are you going to have a hard time? We put him there. You're going to have a hard time. So yeah, that is a plan they have. Have a good day.
All right, dear.
Darling, take care.
Yeah, Devon, you were speaking about the MOU.
Yeah. The Memorandum of Understanding, right, the MOU, basically dealt with pension restoration and reformation. The pension has already been restored. Public workers are assured of a pension from government, right? So that's there. What we need to do and sit at the table is to reform. Good morning and welcome. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, brother. Good morning, Sheldon. And good morning, brother Devon. Oh God, brother Sheldon. And brother Devon, I'm pleading to all you. Please, please, please. I have some breadfruit. And then the picking is the person that take the rod. Last week I say if I had the rod, no, I make a little soup. Because the breadfruit, yeah, some breadfruit full and some breadfruit young. And then my tax coming up, I just pay my tax in February and I just sell the breadfruit to pay my tax. Oh, God.
Okay, Miss Jacob, did you call the Royal Grenada Police Force? Did you call the police?
I don't call it.
But Miss Jacob, what are you doing on radio? No, Miss Jacob, hold on, Miss Jacob.
I call them already and they don't come in.
Miss Jacob, that is pretty larceny. If somebody comes into your property and they steal your fruits, it's pretty larceny. If you have called the Royal Grenada Police Force and they did not come in a situation like this, contact me. Let me contact somebody who's going to find out why they did not come when a crime was committed.
Yeah.
But just going on the radio without calling the police is not going to help. Saying it on the radio here on Hard Talk is not going to fix the problem for you. You know, the person might be listening and they enjoy upsetting you. So they're laughing at the fact that, look, I eating the breadfruit right now and listening to her. You understand? Yeah. So they may be enjoying that. call the police. If the police don't come, it's another matter. But somebody has entered your property. That's the first crime. The second crime is that they have gone further and to remove something that is not theirs to remove. So they have committed predial larceny. They have stolen agricultural produce that is not theirs. So they had two charges to look at. Yeah? So what you need to do when things like these happen, are not call the radio and plead to God. Right? What you need to do is to call the police and make a note. Have you look at a notebook? I call the police at this time. This is the officer number so that I spoke to, and they promised they would send somebody. And then when you see they don't come, you call back again. You ask to speak to somebody more senior. You say, look, I made a report. Nobody came. What is the matter? And if you find you ain't getting through there, give me a call. I know who to call and get them to send somebody. All right, my dear? Because the person might come there and next thing you know, they drop something, you know. Next thing they have a pocket knife and they drop it. Or they drop something that they hold or something that they touch around there and you find a fingerprint and you get exactly who the person is. And once and for all, the problem would end. But when we call the radio and we just speak about it, it cannot really address the issue. Okay, my dear? So you try and take it easy then. And if you need a breadfruit, don't worry. If you need,
bless you all.
Okay, my dear.
All right, Miss Jacob.
I love you too.
And have a wonderful day, Miss Jacob. Hope you're feeling much better.
I don't know why some of them tormenting the lady like that. Oh boy. Some of them just tormenting the lady.
They're going to pay for it. Let it keep on.
No, but they will get catch you. They will get catch. What they say, how much day for watchman, how much day for thief?
99 days for the thief.
99 days for the thief,
The
1 day for
watchman
the
only one day.
Yeah, 1 day.
Just 1 day.
And then you could end up with 99 years in the jail.
You understand? Based on the action that you decide to take. But again, good sense will always prevail. The Royal Grenada Police Force is there, right? And they, trust me, they will respond. Yes, there are times when they do not respond at the same time because of different circumstances. And so, but hey, continue to let them know what is going on, Ms. Jacob, and to all those who have been affected.
But let's find out something. Because I asked a former president of the teachers union if they are strike fund, and he tell me union finances is union business.
Okay.
So I know maybe a member of the teaching fraternity can ask the leadership of the unions if they have strike funds. Yeah? I know Tau is supposed to have a strike fund.
Yeah.
But hearing that the water level kind of low inside that catchment.
Yeah.
So that is why I hear. I'm telling you why I hear.
The water reaching the ankle.
I hear the water level in that catchment kind of low.
Ankle level. You understand? But it's important. You know what is very interesting? The whole question of reform seems to be at the back of the union's head. In other words, they are not basically bringing that to the forefront at all. They got pension and they forgetting about the reforms that have to take place to accommodate that same pension. You understand? That is where this thing has to go, you know. Now, for example, if government had taken a decision and said, look, let us sit down and reform pension first before we restore it, what would have been happening right now? We would not have been in this situation, you know.
The thing is, as it say, kindness does come back and cut you. I ain't going to say the other word, but kindness does come back and cut you. You know what?
You know, but because of government's commitment, right, of restoring pension to the working class.
But,
I mean,
Devon, there's a larger issue here that I think we need to address. And someone was calling on the overseas line a while ago. You can call back. By the time I clicked, you had hung up. There's a larger issue here. The egotistical, big-headed behavior of certain individuals within the unions. And I ain't have to put no bowl in my mouth to talk. I'm talking with it outside just so. And all you know me, I'm afraid nobody I could say it as it is.
If you put bowl, he go choke you.
You would write a letter. And this is disgusting, eh? You write a letter to the CAP secretary. The CAP... Lord, the cabinet secretary, you write a letter to her telling her that you going to go to the commissioner of police to arrest the cabinet?
Yeah. Imagine that.
LL, you're going off?
The audacity of LL and
LL, you well?
And those who are responsible for that letter.
If you know you have to get medication, head up and no, probably they're on strike. You might be able to get the medication, but go and get your medication if you know you have to get medication or not.
Come on, man.
Because you can't be a person of sound mind and write a letter that to the cabinet secretary of Grenada. This is the same government that did not, the same people that you saying criminal, are the same people that did not challenge the Herman Armstrong case, that decided that they're going to work on the issue of pensions and gratuity, that restored the pensions to public workers at 70% of your last salary, working along with the NIS, that has also said that it is willing to give a gratuity. You don't get gratuity right now from the NIS. You don't get there's no gratuity right now. And this government is saying we're willing to give a gratuity. And they're willing to have a discussion with you in relation to it. And you write a letter to the cabinet secretary calling the cabinet a criminal. LL, knowing you, I don't believe as you do that. Whoever do that for you, get rid of that person from around you because that person don't like you.
Yeah, that is not, come on.
That can't be LL do that, man.
Yeah. That is not
LL, if that is you,
mine and
something going wrong. That is a move of absolute desperation. Because you basically threaten the cabinet of the country. And then you saying that people threatening you. No, you have threatened the cabinet of the country. You tell them you're going to go to the commissioner of police to arrest them. The labor code is clear. You don't work, you don't get paid. It's simple. You ask the teachers to come out from their jobs. He tell them, come out from their jobs. Was it not the President General of the Grenada Union of Teachers that informed teachers to stay away from the job? Well, if he informed them to stay away from the job, the government of Grenada, who is the employer of the teachers, who are the only ones that's supposed to tell them when to go to work and when not to go to work, they are not obligated to pay for the days that they are off. So far, I run into 9 days.
Yeah, 9 or 10.
9 days. So you're already looking at half a month's salary gone. Half a month's salary gone already.
Is that fair to the teachers what the union leaders have done to them? Is that fair? Ask yourselves that.
No, that's the thing. You do that. And you write a letter threatening the government, basically. Yeah? That you're going to get commissioner of police and things, a criminal government. You ain't call the NDC government between 2008 and 2013, ULL, that never give a cent to the public workers until a few weeks before they go to call a general election, that they know they would not have had to pay. They thought it would have made the incoming government fall. You never called them a criminal government. They didn't negotiate pension with you. The Herman Armstrong case was filed during that time. Why they never didn't file a defense? They could have not filed a defense and just let the case go, instead of wasting money and all this thing, and immediately say, well, okay, let's start the issue of pension. And so they filed a defense. But you ain't called them criminal. But the ones who come in now, LL, something had to wrong with you. Serious. You can't be well. You can't be well.
But you know,
not a well person will not do something like that. Like crazy people walk.
Well, one of the things that is very interesting, now, as they always say, the union, the workers have a right to strike. No, but based on my understanding, my limited, knowledge of trade unionist work and so, right? You have to reach a particular stage before you decide to go on strike, okay? What has been done by the teachers' union in particular is that, look, they went to the negotiation table, right? An offer was made by government. They made an offer, and they walked out. Good morning and welcome. Good morning.
Sheldon.
Hey, Kami.
Sheldon.
Hey, we're hearing you.
There's something going around now that is fire Mr. David. And you hear Mr. David said in Parliament, where he had to go is in Dubai. So they have this propaganda going around.
Desperation.
Now, and the next thing before I go, I'm very upset. Mr. Scott, there's cabinet. And if on Friday what Mr. Oliver Joseph said, they're going to go back to cabinet and report. So they could have waited for after cabinet today to make their decision. They did not wait. But that is the reason why I say the plan they have. You understand? Wait for after cabinet today, and when Mr. Joseph go in, and they see the rest of members, and they get whatever they want sign, and you don't agree with them, then you could call out your members and say, no work tomorrow, Tuesday. So I am not stupid. I don't have right and say, what common sense makes me for book?
Exactly.
Eh?
Exactly.
These people want to take down the government. They have done.
There's no intention to negotiate
the Prime Minister did not appeal the Samsung case, so we would not going through that today.
All right, my dear.
Chester coached that boy. He coached that boy, and look what the boy doing today. Lot of mercy. Grenadians, all you call it wolves. When wolves go by, tell you, don't say nothing. All you hurting keep me telling you. All you hurting we the people. And there's no children. Lord have mercy.
Okay,
Today
Kami.
cabinet to the Monday. And then no Monday's cabinet ever meet. And you didn't even wait for 24 hours.
But
You
that's
tell
one
the
of those
people
things.
no up to the Monday. So something wrong with them. Something wrong with these people and them. All you getting power so that the happening in Grenada. He will not repeat himself in this country yet. Have a good day. I won't go back and show up. And I'm mad.
Have a good day, Kami.
But Kami is making a valid point.
Very, very valid, man. It's
A meeting took place. A discussion took place. Suggestions were made. The union, first of all, the union did not come to negotiate. The union came to bully. And the egos were out. And who want to tell me about ego and all kind of thing? It is egotistical to walk into what is supposed to be a negotiation with a fixed position that you refuse to move from. You walk in and you say, okay, we're willing to discuss, we're willing to move to another level.
Negotiation is not demands, you know. It's not the...
That's the thing.
You know?
So you walk into there, first of all, and you say, we're not having any discussions unless, one, we get the 25% and we get all the teachers that stayed home, all the workers that stayed home, receive their full salary. That's not negotiation. That is trying to hold the country and the government to ransom. And when you're holding the government to ransom, don't think it's the 15 people that sit in parliament that you're holding to ransom.
No.
You're holding each and every Grenadian to ransom because these are their representatives. They are representative of the people of Grenada. So when you make that sort of thing, you're holding us to ransom.
I cannot understand it, Sheldon. I cannot understand what we are trying to teach our younger ones. Is that the way that teachers and public workers, leaders of public workers, unions and the teacher union, is that the example they want to set for our children as to how to settle, impasses? Do you want to start talking and just walk out and then after just continue demanding? We should take a much more sober approach to these things. You guys are teachers, you know, and senior public workers, leaders within,
Devon,
our communities.
Here's the position that I usually take on this. If I was teaching and I was in the profession right now and I saw the opportunity for me to leave the system according to what position I got with $0.1 million to $250,000 in cash as soon as I retired, I would be fighting for it too. But at the end of the day, you also have to take into consideration the nation on a whole. You're not the only person on the island. There are other people who also contribute. Teachers contribute. Nobody that I've met said that teachers don't deserve 25%. Have you met anybody?
Nope.
Some people even say teachers deserve more than 25%. Nobody that I've met, and I agree with them, nobody has said that teachers do not deserve 25%. For the early hours in the morning to the late hours in the night, to the work on Saturday and Sunday when there are different activities with the children, to the late evenings, doing the debates and the acting and the singing and all of these things, getting ready to putting together the work plans and so. Nobody says that teachers do not deserve it. It is the ability, and that is what government is saying. Every minister that spoke said it. The teachers deserve it, but it's the ability of the government, of the economy of Grenada, to absorb payments like that at this time. Again, they use the words, at this time, it doesn't mean that you will never get it. Because most of the people that within the system right now, by the time they retire in 10, 15 years, it might be 35% gratuity by that time. Because you're talking about Grenada under a different economy. But at this time, you're speaking about Grenada with an economy that cannot absorb that level of payment for a protracted period of time. The issue of pensions is already solved. But you're not hearing the union say that. They refuse to say that. They're using the issue of gratuity like if nothing ain't working. Government just wicked and government just refuse. Mr. Lydon Lewis, you asked the teachers to go out and strike. You, Lydon Lewis, and your executive are responsible for paying them for every day that they're out from work. Not the government of Grenada. Not the same tax-paying parents that now have to pay somebody to go and see after their child when they're out to work. Of course, you all don't have that problem because you all home to see after the children and to work with them. But to the other parents who cannot be at home, yeah?
And can't teach.
And can't teach. They now have to find somebody else to go and take care of their young ones for the period of time and to work with them educationally outside of the classroom where they ought to have been at this time. And I ain't talking just about the care because school is not a daycare center. You have a lot of parents who vex right now because they see school as a daycare center. School ain't no daycare center. Take it out of the mind. School is not a daycare center. You have a lot of parents, the reason they vex now is because they see school as a daycare center. It's not a daycare center. It's an educational institution where your child goes to learn. Whether it's to learn how to socially interact, that's one part of education, and also where they learn academics.
You know one of the things, Sheldon, that keep on, I cannot understand the rationale about it. When you look around at this point in time, you see parents who going to work in the private places, right, and so on, and other places, going to work with their children because they don't have a choice, right? Is that fair for the parents and for our students? Is that fair? Is that the way we want to tell our children that they should settle, problems, issues that you have? We have to do better than that.
These parents are taxpayers. Yeah. They are the ones that paying the bill.
And then not only that, Grenadians, be mindful. Look around the world. Look at the world economic situation and point out for me which country, which government at this point in time, right, is not in the whole thing of cutting back and downsizing in different areas to meet priorities. Which government in the world? We don't print any money. We don't have the luxury of just getting $2 and $3 billion from foreign persons and that sort of things like that. No, we don't. Everybody is trying to trim, to downsize, to try to work within their own means, right? And not go beyond the excessive ways of doing things. We can't go back to that. We just came out on that structural adjustment program, which was very successful, put Grenada right back in stable mood. You want us to go and do something reckless and irresponsible and turn us right back down again? Come on. We need as a people to look at all sides of the coin. And not just the coins. You have about 20 sides of this economy that has to be satisfied by government. Not just the teachers or the public workers or the private workers or whoever. Entire Grenada. It's a sacrifice we all have to pay. And look at the results. You think that if the government was not coming out up front and say, look, the economy is buoyant and look, we realizing 3 and 4 and 5%. You think the union leaders would have come out and say, okay, let's get that or let's get that? No, it's because the government is honest enough to come out and say, look, we on the move, we upwards, and so thus we can able to do this and do that. Come on.
Everything.
Good morning and welcome.
Sheldon, looking at the union attitude, right? Brother Sheldon Devon, if I employ you, okay, and you have your union, and then you union tell to go on strike, I'm your employer, right? You are my employee. So then if you boss encourage you, which is union, you encourage you to withdraw your labor, the union is supposed to have strike funds to pay you, not the government. You can't be on strike and want the government pay you. You don't for your employer, only employer pay you. The union is supposed to have strike funds to pay you, right? It's not the government. And brother Shall I want to say something to the union. Let us put aside the hatred for this government and let common sense prevail. Go back to the bargaining table and negotiate. When you negotiate what you want, sometimes you have to give up. You have to give up some, and the other side give up some to negotiate. You can't want to hold on to everything that you come with, right? And see that negotiation. You have to give up. Let us come together. Let us think about the children. If we say we care and we love the children, we have to put aside our differences as big people and come together and look at the situation right now. The government trying to negotiate in good faith. The case that they love the people. I also want the union to think wisely. Think about the children's future. And if they say they care and love the children, right, let's put the children first. Let's put the country first. And not put the self-interest in front of the country. Right? I want to say again, let good sense prevail. And I want to say my policy, that Brother Devon and Sheldon, we go around the table bargain and not go in the street. As a family, if you have a problem, we home with the family. The best thing to stay home with the family, sit down, try to solve the problem. Take care of the family problem and go out in the street. It's not the right way to solve the problem. All right? And I always say leaders, we have to be good examples and not bad example for others to follow. So, Brother Devon, Sheldon, you all have one for the God bless you all.
All right.
Sheldon, you know one of the things that I'm very upset with the unions? The unions, the leadership of the union, they were warned by government that, look, if you continue to stay away from the workplace, you would not be paid. But you know what was the answer to government and the people of Grenada? To hell was you all. Right? To hell was you all. We ain't taking what you say. We going on strike and you have to pay us. Demanding from government. Come on, people. Right? Leadership is not just getting elected and being on top there and holding that position and working for whatever money. You have to perform. Right? You have to be in a position where you can give and take.
For me, it is a very simple situation. According to the rules, you can strike. Anybody could strike. I could decide that I strike in for a week and I'm staying away from the program. I could decide I strike in, but I can't look for any salary for that week.
Nope.
That is how it is in the private sector. That is how it is in the public sector. That is how it is when you withdraw your labor. Many of you may remember in 2012, was it 2012, 2011, 2012, when the Grenada Breweries workers went on strike and they withdrew their labor and they kind of had to empty Tau strike fund because the workers had to receive their money somewhere. They had to get their money.
At some point in
time. It was removed. There have also been other instances of this by unions up and down throughout the Caribbean, that when you call your workers out, you have to make sure that you have enough money in your strike fund to pay. That is not a threat. That is a promise. There's a difference between the two. A threat is one thing, but this is a promise that the workers who have stayed away would not be paid. And as Devon said, they were warned. But they refused to listen. They refused to listen because there was no industrial dispute on the table at the point in time. The union leader just decided he's going to mislead his people. So we understand the desperation. But for you to come back and call the cabinet a criminal cabinet because of this, that says a lot. That says a lot. It says, one, you don't want no strike fund because you're trying all anger right now to not have to pay the teachers. Christmas coming up. And also the mortgage and the payments to courts and the other payments that have to be made. All of that coming up. And the money has to be found to pay these things. So we'll see how that works out. And then threatening the government that if they do it, what and what repercussions. Again, the ego. You in charge. We in charge of the country. That ego. I mean, come on, man.
Okay, watch. I've been saying that from the beginning. There can only be a resolution through negotiations. You cannot continue to bully someone or demand from someone something, right, that they do not have the ability to give for you. Now, the whole question of gratuity and the gratuity is part of workers' pension, you know. What they are asking for is an advance, a loan on what is being promised to them at the end of the stint with government, right? An advance. Now, if you're asking for an advance, right, from your employer, and they tell you, look, I understand, you deserve it, right? You ought to get that advance, but we cannot, at this point in time, give you what you're asking for, right? So let us negotiate. We offer 2%. Okay, we took off the 2%. That's what the employer is saying. Let us take that off the table. Come in, let us negotiate. Let us reach an amicable settlement. But instead, what you do, right? I mean, with the kind of leadership you have, and so you refuse to even negotiate with the person who is paying you a salary at the end of the month. I mean, how rude and disrespectful that is.
Folks, 4407377, and we have a caller on the line.
Hi.
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Morning.
Listen, I thought it was the issue was with the teachers.
Teachers and public servants in general.
Yeah.
Also, public. Okay, because I know it started out with the teachers.
You would have, with these issues, you would have several organizations that would negotiate. You would have the teachers union. You would also be negotiating separately with the Public Workers Union and the Technical and Allied Workers Union, who basically they have under 100 people that they represent, but they still represent some people, so they are negotiating as well. That's within the public service. I think it's only some folks at the General Hospital that they represent. You also would have negotiations with the Police Association and the Prisons Association and the Nurses Association. So it's several different components of people who work with government that you're having negotiations with. The teachers have taken the forefront on this particular issue.
Okay.
Yeah. But as far as it is right now, government has restored pension. Pension has been restored at the agreed rate, according to the memorandum of understanding, of 70% of the last salary they work for. So you work for $10,000, $7,000 is your pension.
Your monthly.
Yeah.
Monthly contribution. Monthly received.
Right. You work for $1,000. Your pension every month, what you're going to receive is going to be $700. So 70% are your last salary. The issue that is causing the contention and clouding everything else, without applauding the unions for negotiating to get that, and without applauding the government for conceding the 70% pension, is the issue of gratuity. In other words, the loan on the money that you're receiving anyway. So that some persons are saying, okay, they want 25% of their total money over a period of 12.5 or 12.6 years up front.
As a gratuity.
As a gratuity. And government is saying, no, that is undoable. That is undoable. Because remember, you're not just looking at who is retiring now. You also have to go retroactively.
That's right. And there will be future retirees too.
Yeah, because now you're going to be talking about everybody who was retired from the service between the 22nd of February 1985 and today.
Until the end of the year.
Yeah, up to the end of the year.
But what I'm thinking, right? Okay, the government is willing to restore. So why not take some now, go a little lower as to what you want. And then in future negotiations, then you can say, we want more. I don't want to use the word demand. We want more. We would like to get more on that initial figure. Because by that time, one would hope that things would be better then.
Yep.
Because the Prime Minister and the ministers keep making the statement at this time. It means that there's the intention to do it. But you cannot do it at this time.
At this time. And this is what I don't. This is what I am kind of very disappointed in the unions about, right? And as old people say, Keith Mitchell put his foot in his mouth. because I don't think any other government would have done what, try to restore things as is.
Well, which is
to what it thing. And I was so happy when he made that statement, to read because I didn't understand what was going on. I mean, I was in the private sector employment. So I never really understood what was going on. You don't pay attention all the time to things that don't directly concern you.
Okay.
So I was so pleased to hear when he brought that out. And they should be glad to embrace it.
But I find it troubling that the government that decided to address the issue is the government that's being referred to as the criminal government, the criminal cabinet. I take serious offense to that,
Yeah, I think that is
serious
very
offense.
Sad. Very, very sad.
I
have been a member of TAU for over 42 years of my working experience. And I have been called out on strike on several occasions. And I didn't just used to go out on strike. As a matter of fact, there was one time when the union write me, and I write them back with the same speed. Because I think they were unjust when they wanted to, the workers to go on strike. And I tell them in no uncertain terms, I'm not going. The manager of the company threatened me. Well, I shouldn't use the word threaten. But he called me into a meeting and he said to me that when the workers come back out to work and they don't want to work with me, they wouldn't have a choice but to fire me. I say, sir, you could go right ahead and do that. Just make sure you have cause. And I think people have to use wisdom when you're called out on a strike. I have been in strikes. I've taken part in strikes in my workplace. But I make sure that it is justified. And I don't like the egotistic way. And I remember once telling that same Andrew Lewis, you're all too egotistic and everything is a confusion. Take the thing in strides. So it's kind of sad.
All right, my dear.
Okay, then.
You enjoy the rest of your day. The Senate is going to be very interesting.
You look like some of them want to some of them just say they want to leave a legacy. They want to be the ones who, quote unquote, fight government to get this and fight government to get that. But if you continue fighting government and demanding from government or anybody, you will not get anything. You will not realize the true potential of your position. You have to compromise.
Let me say this though. I have found, outside of finding the statements very troubling, I found something else very troubling last week. Now, I'm going to take the students' word for it. The students said that they found that they were home too much and they're going to organize and have a protest. In my view, it was not successful. Yes, it happened, but it wasn't successful because if I am to juxtapose that with 1983, 1983, you had no internet, no cell phone, hardly any student would have a landline. So basically it was word of mouth that you had to spread. And the students were able to come out in their thousands. And now with the internet, with the WhatsApp group that they set up, that they think that I don't know about, the WhatsApp group that all of a sudden got the numbers of key students in different schools and so on, that was set up by certain elements. Yeah? Don't worry, you know what's going on, Yeah, know very well about the WhatsApp group. Check your numbers in it, you might find mine. Yeah, that was set up. That instigated certain things. So yes, the students may have had their own intention and so, but when Minister Pierre came out and she said there were political people instigating in the background, she knew what she was saying. There were political people. You had people on radio telling the students and them going out and thing, and you had political people instigating. And all the minister was saying is that these political people, leave the children alone, leave them out of this. I have sitting across from me, right here in the studio, somebody that could tell you about when children get involved in politics and bring out the masses and so on, and also about what happens. Because you've heard him speak about it. I ain't going down that road today. He done it well already. I ain't going down doing him that again today. But he can tell you what happens. Because I see people talking about, a student from Grenville organize all the children and bring them down and so on. They must tell them what happened to that student. Yeah. They must tell them what happened to young Sheldon Romain, what his father had to do to get his body. When they're talking about get the children out, and you have people, even people in the US and Canada and so on, sending message and saying, yes, the children involved now, and get the children involved and all. Why? Why? Even supportive of the government, I would not be supportive of students coming out there and attacking the teachers.
Nope.
I don't think that's the children's place.
You see, I think getting the children involved, you have to educate the children as to what is going on, right? Let them understand the reasons and not just get them involved in things without any clarity. Because, for example, you having children going out there, right, chanting for something that they have no idea, they don't understand, right, the seriousness of it, right? Some of them going out there and give the teachers a pension, give the teachers a gratuity and everything like that, and continuing on that line, but not understanding that the whole question of pension is out of the loop because pension has already been reinstated, right? Talk about the issues, talk about what
So it's not like the teachers losing any money, It's whether you get it up front or you get it later.
Exactly, alone.
And the thing is, the students are the ones that are suffering. The students are the ones that are suffering at the end of the day. And for any political party to try and take the students and push them to the front because you feel that you could make a government crumble by taking the students and push them to the front, that's child abuse.
It is.
Vex if you want.
It is.
Thank you.
But you know what is also child abuse?
Again, look, you're seeing it there. Some of the children was hiding behind the placard because like they didn't even want to be there. If you're brave and you're out and you're there, you're walking around, man. You show your placard and you shout. Some of the children, you're seeing them in the video and they only hide. Every time they see a camera, they're hiding behind the placard. Don't do that to them. They don't want to be there in some instances. Don't do it to them, man.
Right, and I consider that as child abuse, children abuse. Because you know what? Look at our children, how they are being abused. Right? They are being kept away from school for no valid reason. And I'm not afraid to say that. They are kept away from school. They are being abused, right, by persons who should know better, persons who should be providing good, adequate leadership for our children. Let the children understand that when you make a decision, right, and you decide to do something, it must be for a reason that they will understand. But what is the reason that you're giving them?
It's only about a week or so again. It's school too.
I mean, think about that and look at our children. They are suffering.
They can't even do an exam right now.
They are suffering.
Let's go to the phone line.
Good morning and welcome.
Hello?
Yes, my friend. Good morning.
Hello?
Morning. You're live.
Yeah, I'm calling for the program.
Sure, go right ahead.
You're live.
Hey?
Caller, you're live. Proceed.
I'm live.
Yeah, proceed.
All right. So, you have to make a contribution before you hear the radio then?
If you're listening to the radio, I'll have to discontinue the call because you cannot be listening to the radio and speaking to us on it at the same time. So, take the volume off the radio and speak to us on the phone line. Proceed.
Okay, so I'm live now?
Yes, you're live.
I'm live. Well, I just want to make this contribution here, all right? Good morning.
Yes, good morning. You're listening, you continue to listen to the radio.
Right. Somebody. Right? So when you hear this message, you will know how to call in next time. I'll allow you to call back.
Yeah.
Turn the volume off the radio and call us. I've been involved in radio for over 20 years. And over 20 years, that has been said by nearly every single radio program, that when you are calling the program, take the volume off your radio. So I don't know how you intend to speak to me on the phone and listen to me on the radio when you're having a phone conversation with me. You're not having a radio conversation. Very simple to understand. So when you clear that up and you take the volume off the radio and stop trying to listen to us there and have the conversation on the phone, you won't call back. All right? Nice, thanks. Yeah. No, I mean, 20 years I've been involved in radio at some level or the other. And, come on. Jericho, you start to fight up with this thing. I mean, Vega 1, you start to fight up with this kind of thing. You're talking about Victoria Hughes had to fight up with this thing. Uncle Lou Smith had to fight up with this thing. It's about time people learn this thing, man. I mean, you will reach a point you can't take it again.
I want to draw an example. Because I've been seeing person making comments and thinking. No. If, for example, and let's put it into perspective. If, for example, you come to me, any one of you come to me, you working with me, right? And so for 15, 20 years, and so on, you're about to
let's stick up in and see if they call us.
Good morning and welcome.
Hey, good morning, Sheldon. How you doing?
Hey, morning.
Yeah, how you doing?
We're fine, man.
Morning.
Huh?
I'm fine. Devon is so fine.
Oh, Devon, no, good. I think, you gotta get some money. I think sometime if it's in January or December. I think some 4%, right?
Yeah.
Could you just, if you could just break it down for the public, so they can at least understand, the benefits what the teachers are getting, and basically, how they have it nice.
We'll sure do that. We'll sure do that as we continue the program. We'll definitely highlight some of the things that has been going on with teachers, and not just teachers, but public workers on a whole, as to the benefit that they have been gained in the last 4 or 5 years. And so, but I was making the point, right? You work with Michelle, and you work 10, 20, and you reach your age to go home and so on, and you say, okay, you have a pension to get. We agree, based on your terms of employment and so on, yes, you have a pension to get, and this is what is your pension. But at the end of that time, you want an advance of that pension. In other words, you want a particular lump sum, a portion of that pension, which is called gratuity upfront. And you asking me for that. But based on the financial situation that I am in as the business owner, right? I'm telling you, I say, look, I cannot give you that 25% that you want. It's hard, it's difficult. I have to look at the next 15, 20 years, right? Future of the business and so on, other employees and so. So I cannot give you 25%, but I can give you 2%. Or you know what, let's negotiate. We can reach a figure that is best for all of us based on what the economic situation is. But you know what you turn around and do? Instead of you continue to negotiate, you just put on your tools and say, you know what, I ain't working with you again now, because I can't give you a loan, an advance on your money. I mean, is that fair?
That is where we're at. And the thing is this, that government is willing to give a gratuity.
Of course.
It is willing to give a gratuity. Yeah, we have a caller.
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Good morning, my friend.
And pleasant morning to your listening audience. Mr. Scott, and Devon, the more we look and at the situation and analyze it, it smells of something maybe that the scent has not yet, bubbled to the surface. Now, let us look at it this way. The government must feel this situation is more than gratuity, especially when they look back at what they have done for public servants in the last 5 years. Whether it's pension reform, pension restoration, ensuring, public servants get a fair shake, you know what I mean? When you look at what our economy went through in the last 6 years, with no redundancies or retrenchment in the public service, and with all of that, 300 teachers were still brought into the system permanently, and $110 million was paid out to public servants in benefits. So, now, when you tell the government 25% and it's non-negotiable, I mean, what are you saying? What are you saying to us? I mean, look, for example, we must get that clear. The 25% the union is asking for is not a raise of pay. What they're asking for a 25% cash advance of the pension upon retirement. Okay, because I agree what they're getting now, gentlemen, is totally inadequate. Okay, we agree. But the government have said that 25% is not possible now. Okay, they offer 2%, which I believe is also unacceptable. But what did you do? What did the union do? They withdraw from the talks, take strike action, and refusing to return to the table and telling us it's 25%. It's non-negotiable. Are you kidding me? Now, when you talk to people like that, Mr. Scott, what kind of response do you expect? The bottom line is they must return to the table, both of them. They have no other choice. The union box themselves in by saying 25% and that is non-negotiable. Well, I'm saying the government say 25% is not possible. And you saying it's non-negotiable. Well, if that's the case, let me take a quote from a Jamo. Look the crongly. You understand? Look the crongly. Now, let me wrap up here by saying, Mr. Scott, you know it? In the interest of fairness, peace, tranquility, and our children, I want to see this situation resolved. But in the bottom of my heart, from a political standpoint, I welcome a fight to the end by standing firm, You know what I mean? But then we still have to look at the bigger picture, which is the country and the children. But I want that kind of fight, because I know the union must come back to the table. Those who are looking for winners and losers, they must know that the strikers cannot win.
All right.
Gentlemen, have a pleasant day.
No problem,
All
brother.
right, my friend. Have a wonderful day.
24 minutes after the hour of 11 o'clock on the Spice Isle of Grenada. Remember, we're live on 97.5.
And 89.5.
92.9 FM.
And 94.9 We Vibes Radio in Brooklyn.
Yes, indeed. Also online, www.hardtalkgrenada.com. On YouTube at Hard Talk Grenada. And on Facebook at Hard Talk Grenada Live on Facebook. Yes, indeed. And folks, this issue bringing out the children and that sort of thing. The children want to come out on their own. They have a constitutional right
to do it.
But when it comes to political agitators in the background juking thing, I have a problem there. When it comes to that sort of thing, I have a problem there because I remember what happened the last time that kind of thing happened when they first started going for what they do, Javon. They didn't say put them children in front, they ain't go shoot them. Right down the road there.
Everybody was in that crossfire. Children, old people, young people. I mean, we be saying there are things that we can avoid through negotiations.
Yeah, and we're not saying anything going to go that direction.
Exactly.
What we're saying is we have a history. Let's remember it.
Let that be our guide as we move forward in future negotiations. Let us guide ourselves to some of the historical things that took place in our country. Right? I think we'll be able to make better decisions as
Nazim
we continue.
Duncan come for you.
Oh, God. Duncan?
Me today? No, I can't leave.
Sheldon Duncan come to you.
But a Duncan too, says a Duncan. It's relative that day. But I need to say this, though, because I listen to the union speaking about, they dare to protect why money. Andre, me and you cool. But you see, when you come on that particular one, you lie. You ain't come there to protect no Imani. Because the same Imani is the ones that you all keep talking about that, government, well, maybe you there to protect Imani, but check the people around you. Because they keep saying that, look, we find all you're finding money to pay for the Imani, or you could find money and pay for this. What I'm saying to you, that means cut out the Imani?
Yeah.
That means cut it by half, cut it by quarter, or cut it out totally. But the same way you're finding money for that, you could find money for us.
Yeah. Just to satisfy alone.
And I ain't there no illiterate discussion about finding fiscal space. I'm not in no illiterate discussion. So don't come and send no message to me about finding fiscal space. It's an illiterate discussion, and I'm not going to have that. I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to talk that. That's an illiterate discussion that I'm unwilling to have with anybody.
Some of them want to see Grenada return back to the 2008-2013 scenario. They want us to return in a position where government cannot afford to pay salaries on time, right? And government resorting to sell out its asset to pay salaries. You understand? They want us to resort to that, but we will not go back to that. We have put in place a plan. This government has put in place a plan for the people.
Mr. Man, I see you talking and you're moving the hand. Mr. Man, you go damage the hand. If it's he talking and he moving the hand, because his blood get hotter, so he moving the hand and here you are like, Mr. Man.
It is so passionate. When I sit down every day and I watch my 2 children have to stay home, right? With no one to basically to give them the professional teaching that they're supposed to get, that you teachers supposed to be providing for them. I mean, when I watch at persons who are maintaining the roads, having their children on the side of the roads with them, I feel bad.
And you know that's bad, because
that
if
is bad.
If ILO, if the International Labour Organization had somebody pass around through Grenada and they see these people working at the side of the road and they see the children, we could end up having our country named as a place that have child labor.
Exactly.
So it's not a good thing to have the children. We understand, yes, you have nobody to look after them and so. But this thing about having the children, you know, the children they go just stay there, they will see grass, they will go and pick up two, they go try and do something. If we have representatives from the regional labor organization or international labor organization pass by and see these things, we could end up in trouble. But before we move forward, and we're going to take a short break just now and play Honorable Oliver Joseph's statement again for you all. Before we move there though, there is the issue of where some people have this rumor passing around that Honorable Peter David has been fired. We know that within the movements and so on, within certain organizations, one of the things you all really want to see, because it's 2 people that they really hate. They hate Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell and Peter David. They hate these 2 individuals. They hate Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell and they hate the Honorable Peter David. We know that. It's not only dislike them, all you hate them.
Pass dislike.
So any kind of little anger you could get a bite onto and hold on and feel that you have something. But Honorable Peter David stood up in Parliament on Thursday and said he would be traveling on Friday. He said he was going to the United Arab Emirates. In fact, Senator Nolan Cox is there as well. The Chief of Protocol, Adrian Thomas, is there as well. So he announced that he was going. He ran. And he stated, truthfully so, that this was something that was planned a long time ago. For him to go and for the country to be able to receive some of the same resources that people are asking for. Some of the same resources. That is why he traveled. That is why he went. That is why the delegation from Grenada has gone there. So he run from nothing. It just so happened that this issue happens at a time that he could not avoid traveling. But at the same token, in Parliament on Friday, Dr. Mitchell mentioned Honorable Peter David again when he said, well, look, Pedro is most likely in the air at this point in time. He mentioned it, and he said in his absence, they had asked Honorable Anthony Boson to hold on in his capacity as Minister of Labour. Some people take that. Well, they didn't even listen because I wasn't listening in Parliament, some of them, so they didn't listen to all of that. But they come out now and they start to spread, Peter David get fired, Peter David get fired. All you feel is so. Adrian Joseph, not Adrian Thomas. Adrian Thomas was Amanda Gellix. Adrian Joseph. Yeah, we beat Adrian Thomas. That's it. Beat it twice already. Here you want to come for a third one? Come. Have it sharing. Come. Yeah. Yeah. So it is not a case that anybody run from anything. And it is, listen, I myself have held the portfolio before as Minister of Labour. I've held that portfolio before. I've held the portfolio as Minister of Youth and Sport. I've held the portfolio before. Because when a government minister leaves the state of Grenada, even if they go into Union Island for the day, another minister has to be sworn in by the Governor General as the minister for the period of time that that person is out. Even if it's for the day, if the Prime Minister is leaving and he's going to a meeting on Union Island, some other minister, MP, parliamentary representative, not a senator, a parliamentary representative, is sworn in as Prime Minister for the period of time that he's outside of the state of Grenada. Whether he's going to Trinidad Friday, going to Barbados Friday, going to a conference in St. Kitts this morning and he coming back tomorrow morning. Someone else is sworn in. And the same goes for every ministerial portfolio, full ministerial portfolio. Once the substantive minister steps out, another minister takes on the responsibility as that minister.
But that is a given. That has been going on since when?
But that
since
is
before independence.
That's why I said I held the portfolio of Minister of Labour before. I was the Minister of Labour for a couple of days.
But you know what is interesting?
I was the Minister of Youth for a couple of days.
But you know what is interesting, Sheldon? They are using those who orchestrated what is going on right now about Honorable Peter David have been fired and replaced as Minister of Labour. You see, that's just another part of their plan to create deception and to create this unity among the Grenadian people, right? They have been trying that for a long time, so they will pull at anything, say at anything to create this unity among the Grenadian people, right? I mean, even if this truth is staring them in their face right here, they still continue, right, to try to convince people that there's problems.
I'm just trying to explain to them now because this is nothing new. This is nothing new that a minister has somebody stay in their position while they're out of the country.
By the way, you have acting ministers, deputies, I mean, come on.
Senators hold portfolios for different ministers, and other ministers hold portfolio for ministers that are out. I think right now, Honorable Delma Thomas is holding a portfolio. I can't remember which one. She held different ones at points in time. Honorable Kate Skeeter-Lewis, she's the Minister of Youth, but she's holding the portfolio of sports and culture at this point in time because the minister, Norland Cox, is out of Ireland at this point in time. So it is nothing new. And anybody that want to know that will know that. But you see, there are people that just like, they feel they really have it in for Pedro. They want Pedro bad.
Yeah. I'm still wondering. Well, again, some persons, a minority, perhaps a 1 or 2% of the Grenadian people.
No, that is why
who want that.
I see my friend saying qualify. I did qualify the statement when I said that people in a certain organization and certain organizations, they have a hatred. Yeah? They have a hatred. It's not a dislike, it's a hatred. Once you hear that name Dr. Keith Mitchell, or you hear that name Peter David, is a hatred. But for each one that hate, it's about $20. So you really cater.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just their own spoilish, bratish attitude. Some of them, when they can't get to something, they destroy it or try to destroy it. And that is what's going on with most of them right now.
You always have this thing happening, so why is it wrong for it to happen now? What is wrong for it? The Prime Minister had to travel to Washington. Had the Prime Minister traveled to Washington, another minister would have held the portfolio as Prime Minister. Acting. And it was said in Parliament, Pedro said it when he was talking on Thursday afternoon. I can tell you the time he was talking to was somewhere around 3 in the afternoon. He said it when he was speaking on Thursday afternoon. Then you had Prime Minister Mitchell say it when he was giving the roundup and he was speaking about all the ministers. He mentioned it again. And then he made this special effort to mention that Anthony Boson, because Anthony Boson is a parliamentary representative. So he can be asked to hold the portfolio. And the reason he was asked to hold the portfolio, remember, he's also au fait when it comes to finance.
And even negotiations too. He's a boss in that.
Remember, he was just the Minister of Education the other day.
Exactly.
He used to be a Minister of Finance at different times of so on. So he knows this. And outside of that, you see that issue about go and strike? Well, I'm hearing some news there right now. I want to get a confirmation on it. I'm getting some news there right now. But I want to get confirmation on that. So, you know what? Let me take a short break and come back. Let's take a short break. We're going to play Honorable Oliver Joseph's statement. I think there is enough time for us to clear up.
The following is a statement by Minister for Trade, Industry, Cooperatives and CARICOM Affairs, the Honorable Oliver Joseph, updating the nation on the government's position on pension.
Fellow Grenadians, I wish to provide you with an update on the current industrial impasse between the government of Grenada and the public sector trade unions. As you are aware, this government has announced its intention to restore and reform pensions for workers between the 22nd of February 1985 and the 31st of December 2018. This process has led to the restoration of pension to all workers that were entitled to receive a pension that joined the service between April 1984 and 22nd of February 1985. In the second phase, pension reform. Pension reform will address all workers between the 22nd of February 1985 and the 31st of December 2018. In the Memorandum of Understanding between government and the public sector unions and staff association, agreement was reached for a 70% pension after retirement. The outstanding issue has to do with the advance payment of pension, which is referred to as gratuity. This gratuity is an advance payment that must be repaid in 12 and a half years or 150 months. Therefore, it could be considered as a loan since you must repay it. The unions are insisting on 25% gratuity. They have no issue with the pension. The government did write to the unions, inviting them to come back to the table. On Friday, the 23rd at 10 a.m., the unions and staff association met with the Pension Engagement Committee to discuss the way forward. The union made it abundantly clear that a resolution to this matter hinged on the settlement of the 25% as gratuity and the non-deduction of wages from the workers withdrawing their labor. I indicated, as a cabinet minister attending the meeting, that I will take the demand back to cabinet on Monday and that they will get a written response after cabinet meeting. I left the meeting with a clear understanding that no action will be taken until the cabinet meeting on Monday. I was shocked and disappointed to learn that the president of the Grenada Union of Teachers wrote to its members informing that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday strike action will continue, and that on Wednesday a mass meeting and protest will be held. Despite the good faith of the government, and despite all efforts to get the union to sit at the bargaining table, it seemed that all our best effort has failed. Therefore, as a responsible government, we need to inform the nation that we are willing to sit and look at a resolution to this matter. Our children's future is at stake. The stability of the country is at stake. We have a responsibility to ensure that all sectors of this country are taken care of. We stand to lose millions of dollars if we breach the Fiscal Responsibility Act. And therefore, we ask that good sense prevail and that the union reconsider the action and come back to the bargaining table. In fact, a meeting is scheduled for Thursday of next week where fact-based negotiation will commence, where the union will have an opportunity to present its fact, to justify the 25% request, and the government side will respond. I am hopeful that the meeting on Thursday can still take place so that we can get a resolution to this matter. I thank you.
The preceding was a statement by Minister for Trade, Industry, Cooperatives and CARICOM Affairs, the Honorable Oliver Joseph, updating the nation on the government's position on pension.
right, folks, so you heard it there from the Honorable Oliver Joseph. They had the meeting on Friday. The union come in and say, we want 25% and we want the salary. And then, but the thing is, I heard the address by Senator Andrew Lewis. And Senator Andrew Lewis, maybe you need to have a clearer understanding how government works. No minister can walk into a meeting with the unions and make a decision on behalf of the cabinet of Grenada.
At all.
Ministers, and this is one of the things that I'm glad that I have the experience, that I've been through the system so I understand how the system works. No minister can make a decision in a meeting without first speaking to the cabinet of the country. So they had their meeting on Friday, and then they come out of the meeting saying, well, we ain't achieved nothing. You don't know if you achieve anything yet? Because the cabinet, in fact, cabinet sitting right now, cabinet meeting is today. You have stated what your demands are. The demands would go to cabinet, and cabinet will decide whether they would give in to demands or whether they're going to offer a counter proposal. But instead of waiting to hear what cabinet says, according to Kami, or they just call strike Monday, strike Tuesday,
strike Wednesday.
But I hear that a lot of the teachers turn out today, but the problem was the children don't turn out.
Exactly, because of the kind of disorganization on behalf of the union leaders.
One particular denomination, they have ordered their schools to be reopened and ordered the teachers back to the classrooms.
Of course.
Because this is going to the level of nonsense right now.
And I it's...
Because, how we say, Devon? Negotiating upside down?
They are negotiating upside down. I mean, try to convince your workers or your members, right, to negotiate for more, not less. You negotiating upside down. Workers are able to go home with more pension than any time else based on what the government is offering, right? More pension, more money coming into you at the end of the month when you become a pensionable citizen. Right, so instead of out of that for example, $1,500 you going home with what, about $1,900?
Well, that's the basic thing, You have some people that saying, okay, they want they want a set of money up front and this sort of thing. But remember, cost of living grows exponentially. The cost of living in the 1970s is not the cost of living now. The cost of living in the 1990s is not the cost of living now. In fact, the cost of living in 2008 is not the cost of living now. The cost of living grows exponentially. Now, with that happening, it would be better if you're having $1,900 a month than you having $1,500 a month
to go home with.
Even if you get the set up front and you pay your mortgage and you do this and you do that, then you're ending up now over the age of 60 where you can't go and contract a loan and so from any financial institution, and you have an income coming in that is a couple $100 less, or maybe even according to the calculation might be even a couple thousand less than what you could have been receiving on a monthly basis.
Exactly.
That ain't making sense. I wonder if they explain that to the membership.
I doubt. And
that a man who could be going home every month with, let's say, $2,500 every month as pension, according to what the union is putting forward, would end up going home every month with $1,000 and something.
Yeah. And the thing is, Sheldon, it's an additional burden for that pensioner, right? When he get that lump sum of money upwards, because remember, it's a loan. He has to pay that back every month for over 100 months. He has to be paying back that loan, that gratuity.
150 months roughly.
I mean, so it's not free money. It's a loan that you get in. So when you're retired and you're on pension, you have to study of getting your gratuity, your pension, but you still have to take out a portion of that to pay a loan. I mean, come on.
Let me say this though.
Reasons.
If I were the teachers union, there were certain things I would be pushing for right now. One of them, man, I wonder if I should be giving advice to the teachers union.
Stop giving advice to LL and them. They seem not to want and take advice.
So then I should give. Then they wouldn't do it.
You understand?
Because you have to look at things. You must look at the context of 10, 15 years from now. The same way radio has become now, because we're not sitting in City Sound. We're not sitting in Sister Isle.
Nope.
We're not sitting in any of the radio stations you're hearing this over. We're sitting in our own studio.
Own studio.
In fact, Devon and me could be doing this program from his home or my home. Yeah, there's not a necessity for us any longer to have to go. 15 years ago, you have to go to one of the radio stations to do this.
Yep.
Nowadays, you don't. Technology has improved to that level.
Yep.
Education is already at that level when it comes to tertiary level, that now you can do a degree online, which means that you don't have to go and sit down in a classroom for continuing education or something anywhere in Grenada here. You could stay at home in the evening at particular times.
While you're cooking.
Yeah, and while your children are there, and be educated. And it's not far-fetched to see that in 20 years from now, that may be something that's happening at the home. That instead of the children leaving, because the parent is already, more and more technology is enabling us to stay in a location rather than having to leave. Long ago, a family member died, you had to get a vehicle and travel to our next part of the country to go and find a family member to tell them, because you ain't sure if it have a phone in that area or whatever. Yeah. You had to jump a vehicle and go. I Devon, days gone by, that's what it started to happen. You had to get a vehicle to send a message or call somebody in who have a shop or something in the community and have a phone. You had to call for them to pass a message to somebody who will go down through the cocoa and thing and go down cross the river, pass up through the nutmeg, and go through the tika and them to go and tell the person so and so there.
Gone are the days we used to have to go down by cable and wireless in the carnage and use a payphone or inside to make a overseas call.
Yeah, and we're saying this in the context of this. Teaching as it is now will not be teaching in 10 years, 20 years, or even 30 years from now. By the time our children are ready to be teachers, one of them may have a class at 300, but they may be sitting at home and teaching that particular class because they're looking for the best of the best to be teachers. So they may be sitting at home in front of a computer with an interactive session, and they may be teaching your children at home because you're working from home too. You're doing a radio program, you're doing it from home. You're doing banking and so on. As I said, banking, looking to get rid of all them things. So just now, banks going to be online.
They've been getting rid of all things to make it convenient.
You're going to be doing certain things like your auditing and things from home. Yeah? No matter where it is, you're going to be doing a lot of stuff from home unless it takes actual lifting and pushing and that kind of thing. And in that context, you may find the school becomes a place which is more technological than anything else.
That's where we head in.
And it's going to reduce the number of people in the teaching profession. Years ago, there was a category of worker within Grentel, and before that, Grenada Phone Company, what do I call it? Devon, you would know, I wouldn't know. Grentel, before it was Grentel, was what?
The Grenada Telephone Company.
So I was right, Grenada Telephone Company, right.
GTC.
There was a category of worker in there, switchboard operator. Which company have a switchboard operator now? Even government of Grenada, look at the old estimates of revenue and expenditure. There was a category there for switchboard operator and that kind of thing. It has gotten to the stage that we don't need switchboard operators. That the people that used to pull out the thing and patch a call through. Yeah, you call and you say, I want to call overseas. The same thing is going to happen in the teaching profession over the years.
Yep.
How is the union going to work along with the government to deal with the new realities that technology is introducing into the world right now? How are they? If I was that is the kind of discussions I'm having right now. Yeah? But instead of that, hold them to the truth. Hold them to the truth. 125.
And forgetting to remind teachers or the Grenadian people that over the last 5 years, count the amount of benefits that government gave to the working class of this country. And we can start with the 3% in 2017, 3% hike raise in 2018, and 4% in January. A total of 10% within 5 years in raise of salaries. I mean, that is what the government has done. Plus, look at what the teachers, a lot of the teachers have been afforded. Study time, study leave, opportunities, financial assistance to go and continue their studies. And so the workers has been benefiting over the last 5 years through government services, right? The government didn't have to extend all these things to them, but as a matter of upliftment and a matter of a caring government, as a matter of fact, for his people, they have decided to stretch out a hand and help the workers to lift their standard.
Criminal government.
And is that a criminal government?
I mean, come on, a government that is trying to put in place a national health insurance so that each and every person in this island can receive health care without having to go and do a motorcade to go and collect stuff.
Exactly.
Without having to go and do barbecue and do all kind of luncheon and walk around with a box and put a box at pharmacies and different places to try and collect money. Instead of going through that there is a system put in place together with the National Insurance Scheme, the National Health Insurance, a contributory scheme where everybody will be covered, where you would be covered, your children would be covered, your wife would be covered, your parents, everybody would be covered under a National Health Insurance Scheme so that immediate assistance can be given. A criminal government go do something like that? I mean, come on, man. If it is one of the worst statements we made for the year by anybody, that has been it.
Yeah.
In fact, that letter should be withdrawn. LL,
with an apology.
LL, you should withdraw that letter. Be a man. And put your ego aside. That letter that you sent to the cabinet secretary, that disrespectful letter, should be withdrawn.
How can you call this government a criminal government? Accuse them of all sorts of things. Good morning to the wonderful nurses in our general hospitals all over the Tri-Island state. Good morning to all of you. Continue to do your hard work. Look at our nurses. Look at the opportunity government has given our nurses, right? In regularizing them, teachers too, and everything like that. Look at the improvement in our health sector. Where did the government get that money from? We just fall from the sky? No, because of, good management strategies was enabled the government to take care of its workers and to take care of the infrastructural development of our country. That is a government that you want, who can manage and the people can understand where they go from here. A future for our children. We don't want chaos in our country. We don't want our teachers and our nurses and our public workers to continue striking for no reason, without a valid reason. We're not saying that, you're not getting pension. And so that is an issue that has already been decided on and agreed.
And the thing is, this thing has gotten into the context. What is supposed to be a simple issue, with big people sitting down around the table and discuss, has gotten to an issue right now that is affecting the economy. And you're looking to do strike on Wednesday. When there are cruise ships in again, looking to do a big protest on Wednesday again. To reduce the income of people who you already have had the children home and have to pay $40 and so on. For people to see after the children, you're looking to reduce the income of these people. And you don't care.
You don't.
Because you feel now that these people going to pressure the government. And if they pressure the government go say, listen, this is unfair on so many levels. There was no need for a fight. There's no need for people, the name calling and this sort of nonsense. There's no need for it. I expect the personal attacks, because there are some people that cannot have an intellectual discussion and they could only roll around in the mud.
Yep.
And believe me, if I need to go down there, I could go down there, and all you know that. All you know, my mouth ain't good. I could say thing. So I expect the personal attacks and that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, remember, all that is happening is that we're damaging our children, we're damaging our country, we're damaging our economy. You had Silver Sands open last week, man. Devon, if you see a place, man, if you see a place, and thank you, Naz, I was coming too. Guess who was there? Devon, tell me who was there eating and drinking.
Those naysayers?
Ray Roberts was there.
Oh my God.
Brother Ray, make sure you go to the opening of Silver Sands, the same Silver Sands that he talk all the time about, and that he say government that buy the defense to put up and all kind of thing. And he talk about the wall blocking this. God. And he think, who went and eat food and drink wine?
Morning, camaraderie. I hope you're doing fine.
Tell me a lie, Ray.
I hope you're doing fine this morning, my brother.
Ray, tell me a lie.
Yes, I really hope you're doing fine.
Tell me, Sheldon Scott, a line on you. That you did not go to the opening of Silver Sands and eat finger food. Well, not only finger food, not that real food down there. That you didn't go and eat food and thing and drink. Yeah? Say it ain't so, Ray. Say it ain't so. No, we're not talking about Ray Charles. We're talking about Ray Roberts.
Ray Roberts.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's not the only one, eh?
brother man, you'll be surprised to know. And they no shame, no.
They are no shame.
No shame. But it's a good thing. The gentleman decided building not one other facility, but 2 other facilities now. Yeah. So there'll be an announcement very soon of where the other facility will be. But he's building 2 other facilities.
We all Grenadians. We are fighting for one common goal: the development of our country.
And let's be clear on something here. Not because we do not agree with what the union does means that we are against teachers. I'm against no teacher. If you've been misled, as I believe you've been misled, you've been misled.
I have a daughter that's a teacher.
She on strike too.
And she on strike too.
Yeah, but this is the thing. We have nothing against you teachers.
No.
So those are you that feel that, oh, we have something against you or we vex. No, if you're wrong, you're wrong. Yeah. And we ain't going to support that.
Sure. Rest assured that you wrong, we will confront you. We will have a discussion and we'll tell you that you're wrong.
And many of you are being misled. There is nothing in the Constitution.
Hidden information.
Nothing in the Constitution. Read the Constitution. Yes, you could read Section 84, you could read Section 92, you could read Section 93. Read the Constitution of Grenada. Also read the case Irvin McSween versus the Public Service Commission. Read the case Humlin Armstrong case. Read the cases. And then you would understand that you are being misled. And all of them online. No excuse. Every one of them is on the internet. And you could go there and read them for yourself. Yeah? The case of Irvin McSween was saying that the Pension Disqualification Act was seen as unconstitutional. In the context of Mr. Irvin McSween, who entered the service in 1984. So it was seen as breaching his constitutional right, which was the same thing that you found with the Humlin Armstrong case. And that deals with person up to the 22nd of February, 1985. It did not remove the Pension Disqualification Act, but found that it could not be applied in the cases of these 2 individuals. Read the case. Don't let people tell you. Get a copy online. Look for it. Read it yourself.
And watch, and to those of you out there who continuing to push the line that government want to take the public workers and the teachers' money. Government can't take something away from you that you earn, that you work hard for. If you did not work for a day or a week without valid reason, without acceptable reasons from your employer, which is government, you will not be paid. It is unfair for an employer to continue to pay you and you're not coming to work.
You think, watch, if I talk to Doc, Doc, well, in fact, watch, after calling it a criminal, yeah.
But you know what, good sense will prevail.
After calling it a criminal government. Watch now. If I fire all them union leaders, that is me. That's just me.
But you know, I see one after he make his statements on the radio and on Facebook and send out a letter and thing. He looking for sympathy.
Don't look for no sympathy.
He looking for sympathy as if somebody coming behind you. No, it's the workers that are going to deal with you. When the time come, elections and in your discussion, they will deal with you because you were not truthful and upfront with them. You were not honest and tell them the truth.
It's going to be interesting to have the post-cabinet press briefing tomorrow.
Will be very, very interesting.
I'm getting news. I wonder if
breaking
I should
news?
say it. Naz, I could say it.
Breaking news.
You think I should say it? Well, I hearing that the thing get called off.
Did the thing get called off?
I hearing the thing get called off. I hearing that the thing get called off. I will confirm that it has been called off, but I'm hearing that it get called off.
The thing.
When the unions say what the unions had to say, that is a different thing. I sorry I didn't send my son today, boy. Teacher come. 12 o'clock?
Yeah, it's 12 now.
Django,
12.
Morning. Afternoon, sorry. Yeah, I just sorry I didn't send my son, man. Yeah, but you have one pile of work doing it. You feel I played that. Folks, that's all the time we have for Hard Talk today. I think we're going to put on Dr. Mitchell closing at the budget.
Yes,
because we talk so much about this thing, we ain't talking nothing about the budget yet.
Yeah, we ain't talking. Imagine that.
We ain't talking nothing about the budget yet.
And the budget was such an excellent, prepared document.
Yeah.
I mean, Grenadians must take the time, and either listen or go through the budget yourself. You will be amazed.
I'm going to joke something with that, but let me leave that alone. Folks, that's all the time we have for Hard Talk today. It's been wonderful being here with you. Indeed. And as we always say, we want to be speaking to and with you.
And not about you.
We love each and every one of you. Devon, I realize you have a bad hand. Let me play a tune called A Helping Hand by Baraka. We'll play that tune for you. And then we're going to put on Dr. Mitchell's...
Once it's Baraka.
You'll put on Dr. Mitchell's closing statements. Folks,
there has been a lot of discussion about changes to the pension system in Grenada. It's quite a complicated subject, so we thought we would help to explain some of the key points over a series of short videos like this one. The first thing we need to do is to understand where we are, where we have come from, and where we want to go. Grenada has emerged from one of the most successful structural adjustment programs ever, certainly in the Caribbean. The government did this while enacting programs to protect its citizens, with reductions in income tax, removal of income tax on pensions, and increases in wages. But most importantly, they did all of this without the loss of a single job. We only need to look around at our neighbours to see what a remarkable achievement this really is. Barbados, for example, had a 10-year wage freeze, and workers only received a 5% increase after elections. But this was very quickly followed by significant job cuts. In Grenada, we have had numerous increases over the last 10 years, even as we went through the structural adjustment, and again, not a single job was lost. The government has also honoured its commitments to pensioners in all cases. The case of Mrs. Armstrong proves this point. The government has honoured the interpretation of the courts and paid out all monies due to ensure that the letter of the law has been followed. Two of the main areas of concern are the issue of gratuities and the issue of retirement age. And we're going to do separate videos to explain each of these in more detail, but the main things to remember are these. A gratuity is not a bonus. It's much more like a loan. A person retiring gets to take some of their money sooner rather than later and pays this back over time. This can be both good and bad. More money now means less money later, and we will discuss the issues surrounding this in our next video. But the key thing to remember is that the percentage of the gratuity doesn't change the amount that someone will receive. It only changes the timing of when they will receive it, and that too much too soon will leave too little later on. In relation to the second item, retirement age, it is no secret that everyone is living longer, and much of this is due to better healthcare, better nutrition, a safer working environment, and other government policies that protect people and help them to live longer and more active lives. That's the important part. People aren't just living longer, they're aging more slowly, and many still want to contribute beyond the current retirement age. Grenada has actually been rather late in changing its retirement age. Dominica is at 62. Trinidad and Jamaica are at 65. And in Barbados, the current age of retirement is now 67. There is also another matter of fiscal prudence. Because people are living longer in retirement, the total amounts paid out by government are increasing, and this needs to be balanced against the money that is coming in to ensure that each and every Grenadian can receive the retirement benefits that they are entitled to. And in many ways, that is what this discussion is all about. We need to ensure that whatever policies we agree to now are sustainable, and that they will work now and into the future. Let's think about all these things seriously and look at all angles. If you do, you will see the constraints that we must work within to achieve our overall objectives of ensuring that everyone has enough money to live comfortably in retirement. When you put it all together, it becomes fairly clear that the government's proposed solutions are very close to the ideal and are the best way forward for Grenada. Let's keep working together for the best of Grenada.